Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm trying to watch the Summer League game, but I'm having link issues, so there's news here. Actual news, real news, because Bamba signed with the Philadelphia 76ers on a one-year deal. Didn't see the framework. Don't think it's actually been released at this time. Um, for the Lakers, I think that's a bit of a frustrating thing because you wanted to keep him in the wing um, while we wait on whatever it is that we're waiting on. Quite honestly, that's what we want. And unfortunately, he didn't allow for that. He got tired, it seems to me, of waiting on the Lakers to figure out what they wanted to do with their last roster spot and found an opportunity with the Philadelphia 76ers to back up Joel. So Philly does this every couple of years, man. Anytime we have a center that either was on our team or we're trying to get, they always swoop in and take him. This is the third time they've done this. They did it with Dwight Howard a couple years back. They did it with Andre Drummond as well, and now they're doing it with Mo Bamba. So I don't know what Daryl Morey's thing is about taking centers from the Lakers, but we can take a center from them, and they know it. So they better keep their eyes open. But nevertheless, it is what it is. We are in a position to try to go after different options that are few in number. I think names that come to mind are Christian Wood, Bol, P.J. Washington. I don't know if Devon Reed is still on the board, but he's also an option. Bismack Biyombo's name has been mentioned as well. Um, Willie Hernan Gomez, center position. So those are the names that I've been hearing. Um, if you guys heard my story this morning, if you heard what I had to say, it's Bol. I'm going after Bol. I'm not even thinking about any of these people. Honestly, it's a one-man race for me. I'm cool. Give me Bol. But I think the Lakers may actually be waiting on Christian Wood. I think that's what they may be doing, but I don't know. I'm waiting on Bol. That's who I want. But the thing about Christian Wood is he's a really nice lethal scorer, and we do have the defensive players around him to be able to offset some of his defensive woes. The problem is I don't know that they actually can offset his defensive woes, and I don't know that his offense is really going to be on like that because I don't know why Jason Kidd benched him in the first place. So I don't know where Christian's game is or his game is headed, but I do know that he's shown glimpses of being a very special offensive talent. And he's from Los Angeles. And if he's willing to work, I think we can get the most out of him. So I'm excited about getting a player like him because I know his value is low and we can showcase him much better than Dallas did and raise it up from here. So that's a no-brainer. That's what I've been preaching all the time on this channel. So, of course, if we're following that model, getting Christian Wood at this price is very, very good value for us. But still, Orlando Magic have released Bol. And we're in the Western Conference and have to deal with both Chet and Wembanyama. I think it would make a lot of sense for us to just throw a flyer at Bol. And if he turns into a nice little role player, at least we have a role player that has a body like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think people need Bol to be a superstar. And what I've come to figure out is I don't. The Lakers have had players on this roster. The best name that comes to mind every time I think about this is Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson taught me a very, very important basketball lesson a long time ago. Is that guys can have special length and athleticism and even the ability to hit shots, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be very good at the sport. But that doesn't mean they can't help you because they're extraordinary with their body. And so it's like, for me, it's like, okay, well, if a guy's a quote-unquote scrub, cool. But on a basketball floor, if he can do certain things in the era, stretch the floor, put the ball on the floor, block some shots, rebound occasionally, it's like, why in the heck am I shunning that player in this era when he's 7'3" with long arms? Like that, bring him here, even if he is a lesser guy. You want that role player on your team. And so it's like, for me, I never understand the mentality of shunning guys who don't turn out to be superstars, who happen to have bodies or athleticism that's extraordinary. It's like, bro, have y'all never seen certain guys? Who was that other name, dude? I forgot his name. He won the dunk contest with the Seattle Supersonics way back in the day, at least 22 years ago. Mason. He was a role player who could jump out the gym. He did some good things defensively. Couldn't hit a jump shot. But it's like, if you just looked at his athleticism, you draft him to be a superstar, you're going to be disappointed because that wasn't his game. But if you ran him in systems that made sense for him, he was a pretty serviceable role player that did some good things. So it's like, I think his name was Desmond Mason, I believe. I don't remember. But nevertheless, point is, over the years, I've learned some basketball lessons, and one of them is, just because Bol is not developing into a superstar does not mean he's not going to be a hell of a good player for a team that just wants to keep him around. You know, I look at a guy like Dwight Powell for the Dallas Mavericks. For the life of me, I can't seem to figure out why this guy's in the NBA. He just signed for another big deal. 3 years, what was it, $18 million? The Dallas Mavericks cap, I called them a team that I thought was the third best team in the West. I mean, in the free agency. I said that a little earlier, but to be honest with you, that contract kind of knocks off that grade a little bit. But I understood they were going to sign him anyway, because that's what they always do. He doesn't hold any value in this league, arguably. Nobody ever signs him but the Dallas Mavericks, and they never look to trade him, so it never actually materializes as poor value. But that's what it is. However, it works for them. If I'm not mistaken, they won a championship with the guy. So it's like, I've seen enough Nick Collisons over the years, you know what I mean? Udonis Haslams, they're in the league. Lord knows how they keep a role for 15 to 20 years. Guys can barely play, but they're there. And then guys like Bol get sent away? Come on, man, stop playing with me. Come on. You got politic ball going on all over the place, but you can't see a good prospect when you stare him in the face. Get the whole league looking around at each other saying, yeah, I don't want him, yeah, I don't want him. Just like y'all did with Cam Whitmore. What is that about? Have you seen what this dude can do with a basketball? Even if he doesn't turn into a great player, you don't want a role player that can do that? This is what we're talking about. It's like, yo, come on, guys. I know we're in the spacing era. I know we're in the behavioral health science era. And a lot of times you just don't want to deal with certain stuff. Believe me, I understand this more than most. But if you're trying to win and you're trying to be able to have the flexibility when you've mortgaged your future for the last couple of years, you need stuff like, you got to take chances on the guys like that other people don't want to take chances on for reasons that make sense. But for them, may not make as much sense for you when you need something to turn into something out of nothing. You know, I think about Miami. That's another place for Bol he should probably be thinking about going to, because you get showcased. You know what I mean? I was thinking about places he should possibly look to go, but nobody needs him more than the Lakers. Now that Mo Bamba is off the board, so you know what I'm saying? I think the Lakers may have underestimated what Mo Bamba's intentions may have been in regards to being a Laker. My understanding is we had his bird rights. If we would have signed him, a lot of things look good financially for us. Letting him walk may not have been the greatest decision for ourselves in the long run, maybe. You know what I mean? Depending on if we strike out here with any of these guys that we're targeting. I'm not sure which one they're targeting. Probably all of them. If I'm the Lakers, I'm in contact with Wood, Bol, PJ Washington's people. All three of them. Even if PJ's priced out of our range, it may get to a point where PJ's starting to look around and not really like what he sees in regards to the destinations he might end up landing. He may be willing to take a 1-year deal flyer. In that case, he might be willing to take some type of pay cut to be in a real situation, for which this would definitely be. Putting him alongside Anthony Davis, hitting shots in that role, I think he would flourish. And I think he's a player whose trajectory is going up. So, barring any injuries, he could take us over the top. He can make us as good as we ultimately want to be. So these are the type of things you're thinking about. Can Christian Wood do that if he taps back into his confidence? You know what I mean? It seems to me in limited roles he couldn't really do a lot. Will we have a limited role for him? That's the question I have for Christian Wood. Are we going to duplicate the same role that Dallas had and end up paying him 15 minutes a game? And if that's the case, he's probably going to be the same player, as to which I'm cool. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be a nice piece, but he's not going to be the piece we think he's going to be, and ultimately we're going to want to trade him. And in that situation, he's probably still at this value. So that's, for me, it's like, I mean, it's a low risk, high reward, honestly. Because Christian Wood, we know, is a better player than this, and he hasn't had any injuries. So there's no reason for anything to continue the Dallas way. If he trains his teams, I don't think he's not looked this bad since before his developing stages, really. So, when he was bouncing around the league and playing in different teams before that Detroit opportunity that came about. So Christian Wood, man, it's all about the defensive side of the ball. If he's gonna be as bad as he's been in the past, I'm cool. I don't know. I just don't think I'm gonna be happy when he checks in the game a good portion of the time, and that's the type of thing we want to eliminate. For me, I don't think I'm gonna feel that way about Bobo. I just don't think so. But is Bobo gonna come in with a good mentality of working, reputation? Laziness is the word that keeps coming up. We ain't gonna deal with it. Just letting you know, Lakers ain't gonna deal with it. You would not be the first person with long arms and tall that we would cut quickly for not having a motor or something. You wouldn't be the first. So that's what I would tell them. If you're gonna come to the Lakers, come to work. Either one of them, whether it be Christian Wood or Bobo or anyone, PJ, whoever we end up signing, be ready to work, man. Because that center position is gonna be one where you're gonna have to earn your minutes. The coach we have, you're gonna have to earn your minutes because he may not play you. Ask Bamba. I'm sure that probably contributed to why he signed elsewhere. Because at the end of the day, he's not certain even if he does sign, he gonna play at all for us. Because Coach, when he was healthy before the injury, didn't play him. So that is ultimately why I think Bamba made the right choice in getting out of here, honestly. Because there's a good chance he may not even saw the floor. And that is why I would not be shocked if the center market dries up and we don't have one. And we just go ahead and give our money to another type of position. It wouldn't shock me if the Lakers ultimately did that. I don't think anybody'd be happy with that. But I can see a scenario where they find value in another position. That's probably worth more to them than what it is that they're going to be putting on the center position, especially if these two players fly off the board, or three rather, end up flying off the board. So, yeah, that's what I'm here to tell you guys. Don't be surprised if the Lakers pick up a point guard or something. Don't be surprised. And there are other ways to acquire bigs. You just have to be ready to trade. The question is, what do you want to trade? And I don't think we really have anything we want to trade right now. None of the players that we picked up, I don't, you know what I mean? If you're a Laker fan, this early in the game, after all the moves that Rob has made, you don't really feel the desire to relinquish any of this till you see what you have. None of it, especially the kids. I mean, I want to see more of Jalen Hood-Schifino. Obviously, he's playing right now, but the links ain't working, which is why I'm doing content. But nevertheless, I want to see what these kids can do. I want to see what Cam Reddish can do. I'm not interested in necessarily trading them before that. So, I think all in all, we've done a fantastic job, and because of it, maybe we don't want to necessarily have to find a center in any other way. So we better try to find a big man if we're interested in doing so. And I think both checks both boxes, which is why I think he's ultimately the choice. Because if you really want to add to our guard position, he is actually a guard. He actually is a guard. We're going to say we want him to play the center position, but we can kind of just get away with not after signing him and actually make him a real guard for real. It might be a smart decision for Darvin Ham to just do that. Put him at the small forward at all times. It's going to translate to him being able to do the same stuff that you want a center to do anyway. You don't need him to play the center. You just need him on the floor. So these are the type of things I already see in my mind's eye. I'm adding him as a guard who happens to be 7'2", 7'3", whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And we added our center because he's 7'2". So that's how you do that. It checks both of those boxes. Because I don't really need Christian Wood. The holes that Christian Wood is going to leave on the floor if he does play his worst, they don't hold the same positive that Bol would. They really don't. You don't expect him to block the same shots. You don't expect him to run the floor, ball handle. You don't expect him to get to the lane the same way. I mean, you expect him to hit the same threes. In fact, more so. Because Bol shot like 29% from behind the arc, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, I don't know. I just think Bol ultimately is just going to be a better player overall in the long run. He just is. So, obviously, that's what I'm investing in. Plus, the timeline, I think, fit Bol a little better. He's younger. So, I don't know. It's up to you guys, man. It's up to Laker Nation. I think they have their eyes on getting the hometown kid, Christian Wood. I'm pretty sure we'd welcome him here. I just don't have high hopes. And for a player like that, who 2 years ago I thought was going to be an all-star, I'm not in the business of not having high hopes about you 2 years later and you ain't had no injuries. That's another thing. It's like, damn, he's fallen so far. Can he still fall far from here? I ain't asking that question about Bol. All I'm asking is somebody finally going to believe in this kid and develop him? That's literally all I'm asking. So, again, Bol. It's kind of where it goes for me. Unless PJ decides he wants a pay cut, I think he's considered a better player. But even so, he ain't tall and long like Bo. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think the league got it wrong. When you got a guy who can do what he can do, it shouldn't be too many more people you want on your team more so than him. Especially now, Chet and Wemby in the game. So, yeah, man, bowl us, please. That's where I'm at with it. No more talking about it. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.